Can you hear it with your ears? Can you see it with your eyes? Can you feel it wiggling between your quivering thighs? That thing with James. Once every millennium something will come along. When you feel it you will know it, 'cause it's coming on strong. That thing with James. Sit back, relax, deep breaths, no stress. Let me come inside your mind. I promise you it won't take long, the change will happen soon. You will feel something so special growing deep within you. That thing with James. That thing with James. That's me. Hi, welcome to episode, I think it's 15 of That Thing with James J. Asher II. That's me! Yay! Can you guess what this episode is? Yes, it's a special episode, like every other episode. But this one's even more special than the other special ones, because I have a return guest. Bennett Cravens.
Oh, thank you for that marvelous introduction, James.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Of course, it's wonderful to be back.
Yes.
It's been too long.
It has been quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
So...
But we made it back.
We made it back.
Here we are.
So, what's new with you? What have you been up to?
So, things have kind of been changing for me a little bit. I have a new job, kind of a gig right now, I guess you'd call it. It's not permanent, but I'm going around and recording audio for this company that's turning these interviews into kind of a podcast. They're not really sure if it's going to be a podcast, but initially they're turning them to transcripts. They're using those transcripts to write this brief, and then they want to have audio
to prove that it happened.
Right. They want to have like these, because they're not going to use the whole transcript in the brief. So they're like, if you want to hear more, or if you're curious, then you can go listen to our audio.
So, like, what is the goal for this company? What's their mission?
So they have a government grant to investigate this company called Circles, which is across the country and in parts of Canada. And basically they want to figure out if it's something that should be implemented further or useful, or what it's actually doing for the people.
So it's a Fed program that they're kind of testing out?
So it got its start with some government funding.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to have a cut so I don't have a phone ringing the whole time I'm talking to you. Shut this bad boy down.
Boom.
So yeah, it's got its start with some government funding.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it kind of got cycled up. But now for the most part, it is completely self-sufficient and run by donations and volunteers, and it's self-sustaining itself.
So it's a private thing, but it's working on government funding right now?
It's the government looking into how they should get involved, or if they should get involved.
I see.
Or re-get involved.
And it's to like, it's to help...
It's to help families and people in poverty.
Help families and people in poverty.
Yeah, it's to help them get out of poverty and then to stay out of poverty by using things that everyday people use. It's like whenever you have to go to work and your kid needs to be picked up, you call a friend. Well, what happens a lot to people in poverty is they become more and more reclusive and less trusting of everybody. And and they stop being able to trust anybody.
Yeah.
So when their kid needs to be picked up, they go pick up their kid because they
don't trust anyone else.
That has to be done. And then they lose a job, and then they're back in poverty. Or one of the main things that they talk about, and they call it the cliff effect, is people who get up to a certain point of work and have so many benefits that if they were to make 30 cents more at their job, they would lose every benefit that they have.
That's so fucked up,
And
man.
30 cents, that extra 30 cents isn't going to replace childcare. It's not going to replace the housing. It's not going to replace the food stamps and everything else that you're on. So it's like a lot of people are saying no to raises because they can't.
Because it would ultimately be a loss.
Because they would lose everything that they are dependent on.
I was at Whole Foods 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago. And I overheard one of the employees talking about how she is not allowed to get 40 hours. Mm-hmm. They won't let her get any more than 30 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So that way she can't get benefits, any kind of benefits. And certainly no overtime. And part of the deal is like, she can't get any more than 30 hours a week, but she's also not being paid enough to afford her living expenses right now.
Right.
And dude, I've been fucking... So I've gone to Whole Foods before they were bought out by Amazon, and I've gone to Whole Foods after they were bought out by Amazon. Mm-hmm. Before the buyout, the employees always had light in their eyes. They were always alive and present and happy. I mean, they got good benefits, they were taken care of, and they just seemed to really enjoy their jobs. Mm. Like, every time, you know, compared to going to fucking HEB where it's like zombie land.
Right.
You know, everyone's just like, get me out of here.
Don't talk to me about where anything is. I don't know.
Yeah. But Whole Foods was just like, the people were really happy. And healthy looking. Right. Now, after the buyout, every time I go, which is maybe like once every 3 months or so, they just seem more and more depressed. Like they're just less happy because I don't know, the nature of their business has completely changed, you know? So that
their
sounds...
day-to-day life, yeah.
Yeah.
What they're forced to work with.
So I don't know what that... I don't know what kind of point I was trying to get at, but
so,
that's what you were talking about made me think of that.
Yeah, so that's more of like a company doing its best to maintain its costs.
Right.
So that they don't spend overtime and give money to benefits and all that. This is more like people who work 15 hours at this place every week and then don't work anywhere else so that they can have their benefits. And then, or the people who work 2 jobs, like 15 and 15 apiece, who still aren't full-time, who still get benefits, that when boss man comes around and says, hey, it's time for you to move up to management, it's like, no. Like, why can't we get anybody to take this job? It's more money, it's better hours, you're doing less manual labor. It's like, every one of these people would lose their childcare.
So, I guess what I want to know is, like, what's their industry? What are they doing?
I mean, it's everybody. So it's people all over doing everything.
So any kind of like different office work, factory.
Yeah, a lot of like, nurse assistants, like nurse adjacents, like medical techs and screening technicians and all the technicians that work around nurses. Right. Is surprisingly common.
Really?
Yes.
And you would think that would be a pretty secure job.
Yeah, the problem is that those screenings aren't always in high demand. So, like, they'll schedule one for Wednesday. Hey, you got a job on Wednesday.
Right.
And then we'll schedule one again in 3 weeks.
And then they have to do the balancing act of, like, well, I'm not making enough money to survive from this field, which I'm interested in pursuing.
Right.
However, if I were to get another job, I would be sacrificing the flexibility I would need to pursue this job that I want to do.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so this company is trying to find ways to help alleviate those people's...
So it's giving them a chance to rise above these little pitfalls that everybody seems to fall through when they get into poverty.
In what way? Like what?
So
what are they doing?
One of the first things they do is they take them through a 12-week program, and like it's all about how to manage your money, manage your time, manage your life, in essence. And then after that 12 weeks, you're paired up with somebody, probably upper middle class. I just got it.
Okay, we're back after a little technical difficulty, but, we survived. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we were talking about how the company you're working for helps people who are in need, and they're teaching them.
So I was working for a company contracted by the government to investigate a third company.
Oh, a third company.
So we're investigating this group, Circles. They call it an initiative. It's like a program. Mm-hmm. And so we were talking with people who had been involved in the program, people who were the support system within the program, and then the people who actually worked in the program.
Okay.
And how all those things combined help to bring people out of poverty.
So is this like an audit kind of investigation, or are they just trying to find ways to optimize the effectiveness of the program, of the company?
Yeah, it's kind of like an audit. It's basically like, how have you been successful? What are the things that make you successful? How can we implement success elsewhere?
Okay.
So it's like all these people who are generationally in poverty, mm-hmm. which is the case for a lot of them. It's like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Never thought I'd go into a grocery store and pay cash for groceries kind of stuff.
Right.
To where it's getting them off government dollars completely.
Right.
To where they are self-sustained and self-sufficient people.
Right.
And where I was going with that was a super cool, super great point.
What comes to mind for me is when I was on food stamps for a brief 3 months, I think, and part of the deal with that was I didn't have a job when I was signing up with them, but I was I had zero. I had no money.
Right.
And we were living together.
Mm-hmm.
I just moved in. So I got on food stamps, but part of the thing was, in order for me to keep the food stamps, I would need to get a job that employed me for at least 30 hours a week. Mm-hmm. And then I would stay on, once I got that, if I was unable to get that within a couple weeks, and thank you so much for helping me get that job.
No problem.
You saved my ass. So thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. It was at Alamo Draft House, the Ritz.
Mm-hmm. Downtown 6th Street.
Dirtied 6th.
Oh, so dirty.
Dirty 6th.
Ooh, so dirty.
Dirty. Dude, I was out there on 4/19, bicycle day.
Right, okay.
Went down, my agent invited me to go see this, reggae show at Flamingo Cantina.
Okay, yeah.
And so afterwards, I left because I had to go to a fitting for a gig I had last week. Mm-hmm. And so I left early because I had to go to this fitting at 10 in the morning, and I didn't want to go in there just dragging ass. I had one rum and coke. That's it, out of the whole evening. And the rest was just water. Mm-hmm. And when I was walking back, I was at, I forget the cross street, but it was on Dirty 6th. And it was just on the edge where, for people who don't know, on I don't know if they do it on Thursdays, but definitely Fridays and Saturdays, mm-hmm. they block off 6th Street, so it's purely pedestrian. And so it gets pretty crowded, and then I was kind of getting past the crowd on my way west towards Congress. I just wanted to get somewhere a little bit less trafficy, so it'd be easier
get
to
out of the noise.
Catch a lift home. Yeah. Right at the edge of all the cacophony of people were a man and a woman, with both of them had giant boa constrictors on them. And they had a crowd of people standing around. Not a huge crowd, 6 people standing around, just looking at the boas and petting them and stuff. And I was like, whoa. And I'm phobic of snakes. Mm-hmm. I wish I weren't, but I am. But I wasn't afraid. I was walking by because
these people are okay.
These people are okay. Right. And the thing with boas is like they don't like and bite. That's part of my fear is like the fast movement and the
way
bite.
to stop it.
Right. Boas are a little more slow and they take their time, and I'm like that. So I'm like, I vibe with you, snakes. And,
I can deal with that, yeah.
Right, I can deal with that. You're fucking chill.
You can't crush me.
You can't. Yeah. I'm quicker than you. I think. I don't know how fast those fuck. I bet they can go fast.
They have a lot of muscle.
They do. They got so much muscle.
They can coil around you so quick.
Oh, fuck. Well, I was walking and I was like, oh, whoa. And I look over to my left and there's a couple pedicabers sitting there. One's on their phone. This chick was on her phone. And then this dude was on his pedicab just gaping at the snakes. He was just like... Like, he did... I don't think he blinked at all. And I looked at him. I was like, I know. I just mouthed like, I know, right? It's fucking crazy. And he didn't even see me. He was just like...
He was making sure he wasn't about to get coiled up.
Yeah. He was like, he was in awe and fear.
Right.
It was like...
Eyes on that prize of not dying. That's great.
So, what the fuck were we talking about?
Oh, we were talking about my job.
Your job.
And then we got on snakes.
Snakes. Let's talk about this album.
Okay.
You got an album out.
Yes, I do. Released yesterday.
Let me hear about it. I is it the songs? So you sent me songs a few months ago to listen to, and those weren't finals yet.
Those were the finals.
Those were the finals.
Most of the one or two might have changed since then. But
okay.
For the most part, that was all finals. Yeah.
And they were really fucking good.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Was that the album in its entirety that you sent me?
I believe you got all 9 tracks. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a full 9 tracks. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that was... It wasn't... I think it was just an alphabetical on the Dropbox I sent everybody, so it didn't have the order, but...
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty much it in its entirety. Started writing songs 3 or 4 years ago. Like, really, really writing full songs, with music and lyrics and everything.
So what was going through your head at the time that you actually, like, said, I'm going to commit to making these songs, like, completing them and... possibly doing something with them?
A lot of it was just a lot of unfinished business that I have.
What do you mean?
Just like getting to the 1 yard line and then not punching my artistic creative endeavors into the end zone, releasing them to the world, getting to that point of showing my stuff off. It only ever stayed with me.
Unfinished business as in like unfinished songs, or unfinished business like emotionally?
Unfinished projects. Films, songs, paintings.
You had a lot of like half completed things.
Yeah, like I said, the 1 yard line, like some of it just needed to be released and it then I just never did it with that stuff.
Any particular reason why you didn't do that?
Fear of failure and judgment and all that good stuff that comes with trying to create something and saying, hey, does anybody want to look at this?
Right. Yeah. And then so then you a few months ago a few years ago rather, you said, I'm actually going to, fuck all that. I'm just going to put it out there.
I'm going to push through.
I'm going to push through the fear.
Yes, I've always been hyper obsessed with music. Just like it's always in my ears. It's always going. And moving here, I got into a wave of music that I never really paid much attention to. Like I heard and it was fine, but now acoustic singer-songwriter stuff was just the greatest thing in the world to me. It's
Iron and Wine kind of stuff.
Strip everything else out. You don't need drums. You don't need a bass. Your guitar plugs in. Forget about it.
Right.
Give me somebody singing something that's real to them, or maybe to somebody else, or a group of people, what have you.
Yeah.
Give me them singing about something. I'm in.
Hell yeah.
Pretty much. And so I really started getting into the folk and the alternative, I guess, but folk and singer-songwriter, blues and stuff. And so I was just like, okay, that's where my songwriting started going. And then I had a handful of songs that said, okay, I have some background in sound. I have some knowledge of mics and recording, and then I had good friends who had worked as sound engineers and sound guys on films and stuff, so I had their knowledge to pick from, and friends with gear who were kind enough to let me borrow it, and things just kind of started coming together even more. It's like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
I need to do this. I'm gonna see it through. And so, I mean, there were months at a time where I'd just be like, wow, this is garbage. This is garbage music and nobody wants this. Right. And then I don't work on it for 2 months. And then a hard 2 months of like, okay, now I'm going to re-record everything. So now I'm going to go back to the original recordings, and it's just a whole bunch of wishy-washiness.
Was that what it was like, the wishy-washiness? Was that what it was like over the 3 or 4 years where you said, okay, I need to, I have this desire to commit to it. Mm-hmm. Between that point where you make that decision to the point where you actually release the album, a lot of it, do you think it took so long because of the wishy-washiness?
Yes, and it also came with writing more songs. Right. It started out as like, oh, I'll do my handful and then a handful of covers, and that'll be the thing.
Right.
And then I did a bunch of covers, and nothing ever felt right. Nothing ever felt like it meshed in with my work well enough that I was like, want to present it as a work as a whole is like, yeah, that's fine, but it doesn't really show what I want to show here. Yeah. Which is my work. And so more songs kept coming and more songs kept coming. And it's like, okay, now I've actually got an album's worth. And there is one cover on there of a Patsy Cline song that my friend Neve sang.
Nice.
And she has an amazing voice.
Yeah.
I try so hard. It's just like, hey, come sing for me again. When are we going to make this happen again? But yeah, like, follow her on Instagram, Space Cadet. She sings all the time for the stories and everything. I'm just like, oh my God, keep going, please.
Oh yeah.
So she came and sang with me. So that's the one cover on there. Everything else is one of my own originals, written over the course of some months. Some took about a year. Some fell out of my ass one time or another. And
yeah.
And now they're here in a collection, and they're ready for anybody who wants them.
It's interesting how I lately I've been thinking about, I say lately, but it's often, I think about the difference between the desire to express, to make a creative thing. Like, I desire to do this. I've got most of it. Say you've got a complete song, but something holds you back from putting it out there, and that's because the thing has to write itself. It has to mature on its own, kind of like a wine or a pickle, you know? I don't know. I think it's just interesting. Like, it's difficult, is what I think I'm trying to say. Is it's difficult to say, like, I can hear this, I can see the final product, and I want this thing, I want it out at this certain time.
Oh my God, yeah, I set so many dates.
Right, and then and the date just flies by because the product itself is still, it's not mature enough, right?
The work's not done.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to have to deal with that, isn't it?
And you set these lofty goals of where it should be, how wonderful and game changing it should be, and it's 1 in a million to actually do that. So a lot of people put out some bad stuff first, who did make revolutionary 1 in a million things.
Bob Dylan,
some things came out first.
Bob Dylan's got a lot of shit music, man.
Something has to come out, and that's the whole thing. It's like, something has to come out, and then you have to give it to people to listen to. So that's what I'm really trying to do, especially with the website.
Website. Tell me about the website.
BennettCravens.com. It's a Wix. It's a Wix feature.
Nice.
So I've got my subscription over there, and they make it super easy. Everything you need. Set it all up. These blocks go here. Fill these tiles. Create what goes where, and then hit the publish button, and it's is the
website for you as a musical entity, or is it solely for the album, and the album is self-titled after you, right?
Yes.
Bennett Cravens.
Right. Classic first album move is to have the self-titled. So it will be devoted to mostly probably music. And other projects,
but not just this album,
right? No, any subsequent music that I create will go straight here.
Might as well. You already built the fucking website.
Absolutely, yeah. And so the two songs that I've written since I've finalized what was going on that album will work their way on there, I'm sure, as singles or an EP or what have you, if I can get to that point.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that'll be the focus for all. Points.
So what's I want to check and see if the camera's recording. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Let's see what time we're at with this thing. Oh, thank God it is recording. Good. Okay, so sky's the limit. As far as music is concerned, what do you want from the music? Sky's the limit. Daydream, like what's your fantasy for music and you?
Honestly, I would like to pay my bills playing music.
Live or just selling albums online?
That's something I've asked myself quite a bit, and I think it's a combination of both.
Yeah.
Like if one hand kind of feeds the other,
right,
that would be ideal.
Right.
But yeah, I mean that's honestly where my goals and aspirations for it end. It's like
just
if I could pay the bills, even if it's playing one bar every night of the week for the rest of my life, I'd be pretty fine with that.
Yeah.
Whether it's empty or not, it's like
it's fulfilling.
It's like a calling, It's like I could sit in the same bar and play my songs. People are interested. If people want me to play songs, I have a hard time saying no to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but and then if there ever was a chance to go up and above and beyond that, I'd certainly give it a shot. I wouldn't say no to it.
Right. If someone, say, not Woody Guthrie, he's dead.
Yeah.
Nelson?
Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson. Say Willie wants you to come and, play a song or two at a festival. Mm-hmm. What would you say?
I don't think you're allowed to say no to Willie Nelson.
Right?
If you play an acoustic guitar ever.
Or if he's handing you a joint.
Right, yeah. It just doesn't work. I think the only person who got away with saying no to him about a joint was Woody Harrelson.
Because he quit?
Yeah, there's that funny story.
I don't know this story.
Yeah, he's sorry, Willie, I'm not smoking anymore. Just gave him that look. So yeah, definitely. One of my songs on this album I released, I wouldn't call it a subtitle, but it has the parentheses after it. It says "For Willie Nelson." I was listening to Redheaded Stranger for the 300th time that day, and I was like, God, this is incredible, amazing songwriting. And then I found out he released the video and song Old Timer. So I just listened to Redheaded Stranger 1,000 times, and then Old Timer comes out, and my head is like reeling and spinning with a life that this guy had. Mm-hmm. And so this song kind of came together about time, I'd say, is its main feature. And the whole time I was like, man, this is a Willie song. If Willie did this song, people would love it. And it's like, it's a little bit hard for me to do just because it's outside of my style a little bit. I'm trying to almost do somebody else's, but
right.
It's way before my time. Like it's about being 90. Right. So, which is something I feel like I can understand, but I'll never get until I get there, of course. So it takes a lot.
It's possible, man. Old man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something I find myself thinking about often. Time and life and the winding road and all that good stuff. And so it just it's felt like a Willie Nelson song to me ever since I started playing it and I wrote it. So I just put the little tagline in there for Willie Nelson. Hopefully somebody's like, oh, we'll send it to him one day.
Right.
And hopefully he doesn't get mad at me about it, because that would be devastating.
I doubt he would get mad that you dedicate a song to him.
There's kind of, I don't even know. I wouldn't say it's a joke, but one of the lines is about debts being paid and being in debt, which was kind of a thing for him. At one point in his life.
Yeah.
So, hopefully that isn't like a sore wound that I attack. And I'm not saying like, oh man, look how old he is. That's not that's not the purpose. It's hopefully people understand and realize what the song is saying about age and what it does to everybody. Mm-hmm. And now he's living it. And I haven't gotten to see him live yet. So I'm just like, God, I need to make that happen.
What does age do to everybody?
I mean, physically, it's pretty obvious. Breakdown, weathering, wrinkles, liver spots, hair loss, hair gain, hair graying.
Dude, I've already got those. I'm only 31.
Losing height, losing weight, gaining weight.
Yeah. Having
a harder time maintaining, doing those little things that you used to do. And then mentally, can absolutely ravish people. Absolutely take people out.
Yeah.
Nobody gets out alive.
No, man.
But yeah, I don't think it's easily misinterpreted. But I think somebody can make the case.
Misinterpreted how?
That I'm making fun.
That you're making fun of him and calling him a
or that I'm just
rickety, or that demented I'm just, old man.
Yeah, or that I'm just disavowing old age in general. That's not worthwhile. That's not what I was going for.
You can't really prejudge work though, because you don't know what people are going to think, and if they do mistake it, you know what your intention was, and
I can't make somebody have my intention. I can't make somebody have my understanding of a song. That's the beauty of a song, is everybody's going to pull and glean on different parts and resonate with this and not that. And thank God, because there's got to be some inroad to make somebody a fan. Yeah. It's like, oh, I get that. I get that thought. Now I get to think about it. Expand on it, maybe, if I so choose, or disregard that thought for this thought. Oh, that's a pretty line. That's pretty picking. Whatever.
So, what's your songwriting process like?
It varies, but most of the time it's constantly cycling in my brain words.
Just phrases,
lines. Turning those words into phrases into rhymes or jokes or some kind of
themes.
Yeah, themes, some take, some point of view on something, and then those usually go into the notebook, and then more similar phrases as I go along will work their way into the notebook. It's like, okay, I can put these together. I can put these together. So at one point I had this song that I had most of the lines jotted down on Post-it notes at work. And so I just had all these different phrases. I just started sticking them up on the wall and rearranging them. I was like, felt like a freaking serial killer. It's like, here's the blood trail of my work.
Honestly, that makes me think of the cut-up method. You know about the cut-up method?
Yeah, you write something and then...
Right. William Burroughs. For those of you who don't know, cut-up method was developed by William Burroughs. I'm sure he got...
S. Burroughs, correct.
William S. Burroughs. And I'm sure he probably got the idea from someone else. But you write a thing, just like a passage, or like you can do a page, or just lines or whatever. But the simple idea is you write a page and then you literally take some scissors and cut it up. You cut it up into different shapes, different lines at random. You don't worry about the cutting out a complete sentence or anything. You just cut the fucker up, and then you put the strip pieces in a hat, and you mix it all up, and then you take it out and put it together, and you have some new complete work that you created but you also didn't create. You're discovering new work. And you can also do the same thing with like newspapers and shit like that.
Sure, yeah. Lots of different routes to take to get to that.
And he had some theories that the cut up method was a way to get to pure subconscious, pure unconscious thought, unconscious writing.
Yeah.
And also
unscramble
like
your mind back.
Right. And then, fucking channeling into the fourth dimension or whatever. Dude had some pretty out there ideas. Yeah.
So yeah, that happens on some, just like, as I said, come out clean.
Yeah.
Just the one thought leads to another, leads to a chorus, leads to another verse. Those are rare. I think I got 2 like that.
A verse, chorus, verse?
I mean, that just kind of fell
Came
out.
Came out complete.
Didn't take toiling, didn't take scratching out lines, didn't take 3 different notebooks to have it put together in a final form. So yeah, it's a constant wheel turning in my mind, like, oh, that's a fun word. Oh, that's a cool phrase. Okay. Let's follow the alliteration. Let's follow the assonance and the consonants and try to make it clever. Try to make it a funny thing. Try to make it a twist of words. Try to make it a play on words. Try to make it...
Do you start with lyrics and then follow with the music, or...?
That varies as well. Sometimes music comes first. Sometimes lyric comes first. Sometimes I have lyrics for a long time and no melody, and then sometimes I have a melody for so long and no lyrics that stick with it. I'll improv some on top sometimes, and just so nothing sticks. So it goes both ways. I wouldn't say I have like I get up at 8, write till noon, then melodies till 3. God, it would be great if I did. I feel like I'd get so much done.
Honestly, I don't think you would. Some people just aren't built for that kind of structure.
Yeah, I think it's something that's always going. Like, it's in the back of my mind. Just that hamster's on that wheel. It's like, okay, these are cool things. Okay, let's keep going with these. Okay, this is a good idea. Oh, forget that one. Let's go over here and drink this water thing real quick.
Speaking of drinking water, I needed to take a break for some water. You want to take a quick break?
Water break it is.
Water break.
So, since I always forget to say this, well, I don't always forget to say it, but it's kind of hard for me to remember to say this in the middle of my episodes, so I'm saying it now. If you have questions, comments, suggestions, or if you need advice, I've got answers for you. You can email me at ThatThingWithJames@gmail.com. I'm good at giving advice. It's not always good advice, but I'm good at talking. ThatThingWithJames@gmail.com. Also, if you got some extra change lying around, please pay a visit to my Patreon account. I have a link in my description usually, and it's patreon.com/thatthingwithjames. Patreon.com/thatthingwithjames. So if you want to help support this show, by all means, you're welcome to. I've got different payment things, different payment levels, whatever it's called. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, please be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and tell your friends about the show. Who knows? They might like it. They might glean some knowledge out of it. Also, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, both with the handle @JamesJAsher, and I also have a website, jamesjasher.com. All right, back to the show.
It is recording. Sometimes I forget, like I get in the moment, and then I'm like, oh shit, is it recording? It's like when, oh shit, did I leave the oven on? Oh shit, did I lock my car?
Yeah. The first day that I was recording for that job, like the very first one I went to was like, it's checked the recorder 1,600 times. Like, it has to be recording, right? It absolutely has to be recording.
Because then it's like, oh my fucking God, we can't wind back time and capture this.
We can't fly back out to New Mexico.
So we were just talking about, I told you I did an open mic, and then I dropped the line. I'm trying to do whatever I can to not have to have a day job.
Absolutely.
You know, and I feel like you're on that track
as
well.
I am trying to make that work as best
Right.
I can as well.
And you mentioned how there are bands who now it's like they're totally self-sufficient, like online. Like they're not necessarily signed on with a label or touring or anything. They're able to pay their bills and everything just on like
and
Patreon and everything.
And put money back into their music as well.
Right.
Just by having a Patreon following that isn't, 160,000 Twitter followers. It's like
Right.
150 fans.
Right.
Like, we like you so much and we want you to keep making stuff, so here's the $5 a month.
Right.
And that adds up so quick.
Oh yeah.
Adds up so quick that it changes people's lives. Where it's
Do you have a Patreon set up?
I do not. I need to. That's going to be the next step.
It's real easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and I need to get on it before anything changes with that.
Right.
So yeah, that's going to be one of my next steps. I have a name your price tool on my website for the album, so you can go anywhere from free to.
Radiohead did that with In Rainbows.
Yes. Absolutely. So yeah, I have an option there, and there's also a donate button on my page. So it's kind of Patreon-like without being Patreon, because there is so much that you have to promise with that Patreon subscription. Like, you have to set your standard. Like, you'll get content X times a month, and you'll also get this bonus X times a month because you're here.
See, I don't have any extra content right now. Mine's just like a hat. It's just a hat on the sidewalk, like a busking hat. Like, right now it's just like, if you want to donate to create more and better content, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames and say, hey, there's a quarter for you, kid.
So it's like a donate button, more of a subscribe pledge.
You can do both. So it's a monthly thing.
Yeah,
but
I thought I heard you say it in the podcast before about.
Right. It's a monthly thing, and you can set up different tiers. It can be anywhere from $1 to like 35,000. So I've got the whole fucking thing.
So you got a couple of those.
Dude, I've got several tiers.
35,000s?
Dude, I went to the max. If anyone wants to fucking pay off my car.
Just think, I have a couple 35,000 subscribers.
Oh, no.
So you're fine.
No. Dude, the fucking...
Be talking about a new setup.
Yeah. No, you can set up like different tiers for like a $1, $5, whatever.
Gotcha.
So it can be a monthly basis, or it can be, you can set it up so that it's charged anytime you put out, publish new content.
Right.
Yeah. So either or.
Which always, like, either one is just nerve-wracking. It's like, now I have a deadline with this. Oh my God.
I like it, because I do one episode a week, and that commitment. I've got one subscriber who also very kindly bought me this microphone right here.
Very nice.
And it was like, I can't do the scared thing. I can't say, the fear hesitation of, creating content or any kind of art or anything. It's like, no, it would be a fucking insult if I didn't make shit.
Right.
Because I've got this, the stakes have been raised.
And you got somebody else who's backing behind you.
Someone backing me. Thank you, Josh. Thank you. And so I like it because it's pushing me. And it's not every, I'm not like stoked about every episode. I'm not super happy with every episode.
Right.
But I'm putting something out all the time.
Absolutely.
And just the consistency of having to
It's huge.
do that. It's pushing me more toward just sort of organizing my life and setting goals and like actively pursuing those goals and finding ways to achieve those goals. Just because it's such a regular thing.
Yeah.
Kind of losing my train of thought here.
No, I follow you. It's like if I was able to do a video for a song every week, I'd do it, but
it wouldn't be great all the time, but
it wouldn't be conducive to time.
It's a muscle.
Yeah.
You're exercising that muscle, so you do get better at it over time.
Sure.
And it becomes
I think
easier.
especially for podcast people expect that consistency.
Oh yeah.
Like, especially once you become a podcast follower, it's like, it's Wednesday and my shows are not up.
Right.
Do I need to bust out the laptop and
I
send a little message here? What's going on?
I'm still a little inconsistent with the days. Like I usually put it out like Sunday afternoon to evening, just so that it's available on Monday. I would just put it out Monday morning, but it takes like a couple 2 to 3 hours work to, especially. It's mostly the YouTube videos because they take an hour plus to upload the video because they're an hour long. And I've got my day job and I've got other things I'm trying to do. So it's like Mondays. I've got a life. So Monday's fucking busy. So, I mean, if I had just those like few hours from the day job, just like wake up and upload that shit on Monday, I would do that. But so I've been doing like late Sunday, sometimes on a Saturday if, I'm going to be busy the next day.
Sure.
Or Friday. I think I have like one episode that I uploaded on Friday.
Yeah, I don't think anybody minds an early episode.
Right.
It's when it's a week late.
When it's late, yeah.
And especially starting out, you have more forgiveness. But like the people who are doing like I've got podcasts since 2012.
I have like 15 subscribers on YouTube and
start, man.
Maybe
there's people who've been doing it since like audio. 2012 that are now like, oh, my podcast is huge. When they miss a week, they hear about it.
That's their fucking job. That's their job. They're not doing their job.
Everybody gets a sick day.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody gets a sick day, especially when you're using your voice.
Yeah.
How bad do you want this? Because I got a show for you today.
I actually
Sling Blade podcast.
The last time. Welcome to that thing.
French fried potatoes.
The last time you were here, I was only uploading this shit to YouTube, and I kept telling the camera and the microphone, like, I'll get this up on audio someday. I finally have it up on audio.
Oh,
now.
Nice. Where are you uploading?
It's on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and Stitcher.
Nice.
Yeah, and TuneIn.
The big ones.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How hard was that?
Super easy. I've got a host called Pinecast. I pay them $5 a month. Okay. And
they don't take any rights or royalties.
No.
Good.
No. And all I have to do is like upload it to them and their RSS feed. Like I just upload the audio file and type out the name and the description, and then click publish, and their RSS feed just automatically goes out to all the people that I'm set up with.
Great.
Now I did have to. Some websites are a little bit more stringent about if they're going to host or blast your podcast out there. Like iTunes, it took a couple weeks to get approval, but I did ultimately get approal from iTunes, so I'm on.
What would they not approve?
There's some maybe just like
stuff out there.
Really poor, some buck wild, just like maybe really poor quality sound content, or just really mean, offensive, like cruel shit. Yeah. Because some people have been kicked off for being just entirely misogynistic.
Once those letter writing campaigns start, things change.
Yeah.
Email letters now, I guess.
Yeah.
A letter is...
Dude, they don't even teach kids how to write in cursive anymore.
They don't teach the alphabet the same anymore?
How do they do it?
They don't say ABC. They say A, B, C, or K. Yeah.
Are you fucking serious,
yeah,
dude?
buddy. You teach them the sound, not the letter.
It's all phonetic?
It's all phonetic.
I wonder why. Is it better? Abe, that's how you say the ABCs in Spanish.
Yeah, I think it gets back closer to Spanish, but it's like,
Yeah.
whenever you look at an A, how often do you say A in a word?
I say it.
Sure, I mean, they're out there, but more often than not, it's
That's a car. A car. Oh, shit. So they're teaching phonetic alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, J, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. What?
H-J-I.
H-J-I?
H-J-I.
Oh.
J is...
Jefe. J.
F.
F. Jefe.
Jota.
J.
H.
H.
I.
I. E. Is E.
I is I.
No. A, B, C, D, E.
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 I.
E is E.
E.
Yeah.
I is
Yeah.
I. Can't remember J.
I
Man.
I
Senora Harding, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I is E.
I.
Senorita.
Senorita, yeah.
Z.
Remember J.
Z.
I can't remember J forever. Are we doing Spanish or are we doing the new one? Because I don't even know anymore.
Is there a difference?
I wouldn't know. I wasn't taught it.
I don't know. I did not. I learned more Spanish in the 1 semester of French that I took in undergrad than I did in the 2 years of Spanish I took in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that all the Spanish you had to take
Yeah.
throughout your elementary, middle school?
I think it was maybe high school, junior high or high school.
Just the 2 times, the 2 classes?
Yeah, dude, you fall as tiny.
Damn, man. I had Spanish every year of my life in school.
Really?
Every year.
Yeah, no.
Every year. Except for in high school when I took 1 year off because I didn't take Spanish 4.
Oh, yeah.
So like, why?
Wait, you took a year off of high school?
No, 1 year off Spanish.
Oh.
It was like 1 year that I didn't have a Spanish class in school.
Did you do any concurrent enrollment when you were in high school?
My sister did that, and she didn't go a lot.
Oh, dude, yeah.
She started off good, and then I think she took some time off.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I don't think it ended well with all that. So it's just like,
That's a bummer.
I'm not-
I knocked out 9 hours before I even started college.
that's nice.
For free. Government paid for it.
Mhm.
Hell
You're
yeah.
technically still in high school.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't have a good sense of it being worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't. Plus, I'm fine at school. It was fine there.
So you're from, like, OKC.
Mm-hmm.
OKC proper?
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, I went to
I
school
don't-
at Putnam City Original, which I guess is in War Acres. I guess War Acres, technically, which is a city right smack dab in the middle of Oklahoma City.
I don't know OKC that well. I've been a handful of times, but I know Tulsa better because I'm from East Oklahoma.
Closer to Tulsa, yeah.
Yeah, hour away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fun little town. It's doing some cool things now,
Yeah.
like the arts district and stuff. A lot of young people coming to do what they want to do.
Yeah, same for Tulsa. They're starting to get, like, a pulse, the cities.
Yeah, which is cool. It's got, great cost of living. So
Yeah.
great
Dude, it's cheap
employment
as
rates.
fuck to live
Yeah.
in Oklahoma.
The unemployment rate there right now is like 3%.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's all the people who just don't want a job.
Right. Yeah.
Like if you guys wanted one.
Like, there's some people we went to college with who are still doing film stuff there, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the film scene is still blossoming. Dead Center is becoming a like recognized film festival.
Dead Center?
Mm-hmm.
It's a film festival in OKC.
Mm-hmm. The OKC Film Festival.
Oh, wow.
More films coming through. I don't know if they're doing anything with like tax initiatives or anything. I have no idea what they're doing with that, but it's cool. It's a cool time over there right now.
Oklahoma. Do you miss it?
Oklahoma. I don't, because I get back there enough. Because my family's still there and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
How often do you go back to visit?
Christmases and Thanksgivings, definitely. Mom's birthday, I try to get back because mom and dad are... Mom's October 29th and then dad's November 5th. So that's just like right there. So that's always a good trip.
You're such a good son. I only go once a year on Christmas.
I don't call enough. It's never enough. Like, my mom was like, so you coming home for your birthday?
Oh my God.
I cannot come home.
Yeah.
Every weekend. No.
It's a long drive.
Yeah, she had the same thought whenever I was in Stillwater. It's like, it's only an hour. You should come back.
Yeah.
I'm paying for a place here, and I have a job, and a bar to go to. I'm good.
A bar to go to.
I'm all
The
right.
Stonewall.
Yeah.
I miss the times at the Stonewall Tavern.
Yep.
Stonewall Tavern is a bar in Oklahoma, in Stillwater, Oklahoma. And we had a friend in the theater department who had an apartment right next door to it. There was like an alley that you walk in through the alley. It has like an alley entrance to the bar. And just right across, like in the alley, right across was Woody, his apartment. And then there was so many parties. Remember we would sing like a fucking doo-wop, like acapella doo-wop shit on the porch, just, you know.
And then we do it
gravity
in
bongs deep.
we do it in the atrium of Daddy-O's as well. That little vestibule.
Yeah, dude,
Great acoustics in there.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so it was the wall,
I
Woody's.
forgot about Daddy-O's. Oh my God.
And then right next to Woody was, I guess you weren't around for that, but Tiffany lived there for a while with Garrett. So we had that whole...
I think that was right after I left.
It must have been.
Yeah.
So we had the whole thing for a while.
That whole building?
We just took over, like...
And it was just...
And of course it's right across from the Seratine, so...
Right.
So we just massed in this area all the time. It's like, if you're looking for anybody, it's like, we're all right here.
Right.
And then Daddy-O's was a 5-minute walk.
It was called the Seratine? Is that what it was called?
Seratine.
Seratine Center was the building where the theater department was based in.
Yeah. They got a brand new state-of-the-art facility.
Whoa, no shit.
The theater program is now split. So like, the band and all the vocal cats got the Seratine back. Mm-hmm. And now the theater has like this whole wicked new system. And it was like, so close.
I heard there was a lot of shake-up in the staff, like at least maybe over the past 10 years or so.
Yeah, I believe the only person around now from our time is Lloyd Noble.
Lloyd's still there?
I believe... I know he's still there.
What happened to Peter? Did he retire?
I don't know. I never heard a story.
Yeah. I know Maria's here. She's
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, she's...
Is she doing something with UT or something?
No. I'm not entirely sure what she's up to, but we reach out to each other every now and then on the Facebooks.
That's good.
Yeah, she'll send me a message. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's rad.
I haven't met up with her. I'd like to meet up and have some coffee with her or something.
She'd be good for an old chat, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sweet
lady.
Oh yeah. And then obviously like Tom Lonovich and Don Childs.
Rest their souls.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, dude. That when Matt Tomlanovich used to be a professor at Oklahoma State University. He was a theater professor, and he lived. I think he was he adjunct or was he associate? Because
I'll never remember.
He lived in Dallas, and he would drive up. So he'd drive back and forth between Dallas and Stillwater, that's a fucking long drive.
His whole family being in Dallas. Yeah, it's
right.
6 hours.
Yeah,
I think that trip is maybe 5.5.
Yeah, he died from MRSA. He contracted MRSA because I think he got like pneumonia or something and went to the hospital and contracted MRSA. Yeah. And it got in his spine and killed him. Or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there were some other complications on top of that, but that was the...
Yeah. I regarded him as my mentor because he was the first professor that I met there, other than like, I guess I met Peter before because I auditioned for Peter and for Donald? Was that his name? He was in the grad program as well. He's like
Donald, yeah.
Yeah, Donald.
That did
the
Zoo
third
Story.
Yeah. I auditioned
Full circle to episode 2, folks. Go back.
Yeah. I auditioned for both of those guys, and I did a piece from Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. Mm-hmm. I had no idea that was Peter's favorite play.
Whoops.
I know. And I
so it'll never be good enough.
And I just happened to fucking kill it in that audition. I did really fucking good. I think that was like the best audition I had done to date in that time. And so I got in with that, luckily. And then I moved to town. I got my apartment out on the edge of town. And then I went to Stonewall. I didn't know that it was the hub for the theater people because it's right next to where the theater department was located. And it's just a fucking great bar.
The guy who lived where Woody lived was in theater before Woody
really
lived too. From what I understand, yeah. Like, he got it handed
It was just
by the theater department, basically.
There was just so much partying.
Oh my god.
And it was so good. Great times.
Yeah.
I miss it.
I remember before I turned 21, it would be the young people over at Woody's, and then everybody over 21 would be at the wall.
Right.
And then everybody would cycle through, and we're like, yeah, we're still here going.
Oh, yeah. Constantly.
We'll be here at 2 when you guys get done.
Well, before my first semester in the master's program there, I went to Stonewall by myself, and I was standing in line, and it was the Screwdriver special night. Mm-hmm. Stonewall, I don't know if they're still doing it, but at the time, you get $3 specials like every day of the week. Oh, $2. $2 specials, mostly liquor. Mm-hmm. It's mostly liquor with a splash of mix.
And they were doing them right.
They were doing them fucking right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you could smoke inside.
Oh, yeah.
Which was great.
You just walked in and it's like, I've had 6 cigarettes.
That's a real bar. $2 highly alcoholic specials.
I mean, that's a lot of...
And smoking inside. Yeah. Pool. Great pool tables. Well,
great jukebox.
I didn't know anybody, and I was just there by myself, standing in line. And there was a older gentleman standing behind me.
The coolest looking dude in the room.
Coolest looking dude. He was just like so comfortable in his own skin, totally present. And I don't know how, but I like kind of turned to him and started talking. And he was like, are you going to school here? And I was like, I'm actually about to start the grad program here. He's like, really? What are you studying? And I was like, theater. And he said, that's interesting you say that because I'm a theater teacher. I'm Matt.
We're going to be working together, yeah.
Yeah, let me buy you a drink.
That's Matt.
Yeah, that's Matt.
That's Matt.
Was Matt. He quit drinking before he died.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which, I mean, that's what a fucking, like, that happens.
I didn't mean the drinking part. I meant buying you a drink.
Buying you a drink.
It was so him, yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody and everybody who'd be willing to have a good chat, he'd be there for in a heartbeat.
Oh, dude, he was good at chatting.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is it. I think it's been an hour.
Okay.
Thanks for coming.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
It's good to see you.
You too, man.
Let's do some plugs at the very end here. Okay, so plug your shit, bro.
All right. Yeah, go to Bennett Cravens, BennettCravens.com. It's going to be linked up to everything I have, so anything you need from me will be there. And if it's not, just get the album, because that's what you came for, I hope. And it's name your price, download it for free, or if you're feeling big time, throw out a few shekels. Everything that goes into it, or that I make from it, is going to go into the next album or next piece of music work. So every little bit helps. And that's going to be where I upload everything from now on here on out. So if you're looking for me, that's where I'll be.
I'll be sure to put links to your stuff in the description.
I appreciate it.
For sure. I appreciate you coming to be my guest again.
Anytime, man. If you need a guest, just hit me up.
This one is like, this is so different because the last one we did, it was so silly.
Yeah.
And this one felt like, at least the first 30 minutes was so mature.
We started with the work I had been doing, which was like, it's been huge on my mind is like, yeah, getting people out of poverty. That's a huge thing. And like actually seeing and hearing stories of people who got out of poverty and were like, yeah, I have 8 kids and we were taking like 20 grand in just food stamps.
Fuck.
And now I pay for my own groceries in cash every week. It's like,
Man.
okay, so no matter what side of the debate you're on, if you want your tax dollars to not be going to other people, like, which is what everybody complains about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is like, you're a fan of this program. If you want to be out of poverty and not be on these anymore, this is your program. There's no way not to like what this program's doing. So,
Right on.
yeah, as long as they can do it. And like, as I was saying, it's like what got us on the serious note. We start out with like, yeah, people in poverty. Oh, joke.
Yeah. Tons of fun.
Yeah, it's, I mean, you know, it's a laugh a minute kind of stuff when you're out there.
Yeah. Interesting subject nonetheless, though.
Absolutely, yeah, and like really eye-opening and game-changing to hear these people's stories and stuff. So
Nice. Well, all right, that's it. See you next week. Bye.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.